Hi, welcome to Hot Topics in Public Health. Even if you live in a gorgeous house like this, there still might be some health risks. Check it out. What are the risk factors of lead poisoning?
Well, here in Roanoke City, homes built before 1978 are actually the biggest risk. These homes commonly have lead-based paint, which can harm your family and your children. This paint can actually look like alligator scales, and we'll show you a little bit about that later.
So kids age 5 and under are most at risk for lead poisoning because they are playing on the floor, playing with their hands, and they can get lead dust on their hands, on their toys, and when they take that lead dust and it gets into their mouth, their body absorbs it much quicker than adults and even older children do, and that's how they can get lead poisoning just by simply playing in your home.
This is a really good example of lead-based paint. It's commonly shaped like alligator scales, or it's more octangular in shape. If you see this, you want to be really careful on how you work with it.
What are the signs of lead poisoning?
There may not be any signs at all. Most children with lead poisoning don't exhibit signs. If they do exhibit signs, they could be really vague, like a stomach ache or irritability, and can be attributed to other illnesses. So you may not even consider lead poisoning as the culprit. So that's why it's really important to get tested, because that's the only way you'll know for sure if your child has lead poisoning.
Where can I find lead testing for my kids?
So lead testing can be found at your pediatrician's office. They typically do those at age 1 and 2 at a well child visit, and it's a simple finger stick.
Are adults at the same kind of risk for lead poisoning?
While adults can get lead poisoning, they're much less likely to get poisoning because their bodies aren't developing and can recognize that lead is not helpful and will kick that out. Most adults who get lead poisoning get it from working with lead on their jobs or in their hobbies. That's why it's really important to use lead-safe work practices.
People can actually do the DIY things themselves, but they want to make sure they're doing lead-safe work practices. And you can find those videos on our website or our webpage and learn more about how to be safe while working with something that may have lead-based paint on it.
So what kind of physical problems can lead poisoning cause?
So lead poisoning can cause brain issues, issues with learning. It can cause neurological issues. You can have developmental issues such as slowed growth. It can cause an array of problems, and it can happen at any level, even a low level for an extended amount of time, because your child's brain is developing so rapidly at that under age 5 time frame. What you need to know is that the damage is permanent. You can't go back and undo it once it's done. It depends on the level, whether it's a lower level, higher level, how long it's going, how quickly the lead is taken out, so that the child's not having continual exposure.
Does nutrition play a role in lead poisoning?
Absolutely. If a child is deficient in minerals such as iron, it can actually promote the body to absorb more lead and cause even more difficulties. No level of lead is safe.
So what are the biggest takeaways about lead risk?
The biggest takeaway for lead risk are that kids are really vulnerable to lead poisoning from something you might not even be able to see in your home.
It's time you get your kids tested for lead poisoning. It's just as easy as checking with your doctor.